this is what I am making today. This card comes from Simply Stated Design, and we received it in our crop kit for the Creative Scrapbooker magazine June 2025 crop. Now, when the card arrives, it has this green or red background for the label in the top, but nothing else. It's just plain. I wanted to zhuzh it up and give it some texture like it was real cloth. And so I was asked, how did I do that? So I want to share that with you today. So first off, I'm going to show you how I used masking fluid to achieve it. Now, the clip I'm going to show you is when I made some Tim Holtz birds to just show you how the fluid is painted on, and then we will move into how I actually created this card. I want to show you what I'm doing with my little crazy birds. So when I'm coloring them, I want their eyes to stay as bright as possible, and I want to have their beak be orange, but I'm adding this color, blended color with the distress inks, and it's impossible to stop myself from getting it where I don't want it. So this is my answer. So I have this artist's masking fluid. Just want to make sure that that's going to focus there. And I just got it at the local art supply store. Yes, in Cranberry, BC, we have an art supply store, and it's amazing. No scrapbooking stuff, but I can get all the inks and paints and everything that I want there, and that's very cool. Ooh, that's kind of gross. Should have opened that up before you guys came. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to warn you in advance. This stuff stinks to high heaven. I don't know what's in it that makes it stink so bad, but ooh-wee. But if you're not opposed to bad smells for the few minutes it's going to take to look after this, come along with me on this little journey. Whenever I get something, for instance, this comes inside the ATG gun. Actually, it's by Scotch. And so I keep these because they're perfect for when I need to put a little paint or artist masking fluid out to work with. So what I'm going to do is take my dollar store paintbrushes. I just go down to the Dollarama and I buy this big box for like $3. And so I don't care if I get glue and stuff on it because I am going to throw it out when I'm done anyway. So what you're going to do is just paint this artist masking fluid over any place that you are going to want to stay white while you are ink blending. Now you have to let this dry. It does take a little while. I like to leave them overnight. I like to make sure it's good and dry so it will stand up to the constant barrage of ink on a ink tool that's going to be rubbing up against it. Now I also put a little here in between his legs because I don't want to get any discoloration there. In this case, for my project, I'm cutting the outside right down, so I'm not worried about it. All right, that's it. I'm just going to set that, let it dry. Let me see if I can tell you exactly how long it says. It just says brush and let dry. I think in my mind it takes probably an hour or so and it'll be good and dry, but I like to leave it overnight. I figure, why tempt fate and get ink where I don't want to and have to throw my project away. Okay, I took Simply Stated's little jam jar and I painted on my masking fluid. And I've let it dry overnight, and now I'm going to add on ink. So I got this really nice little stencil here, and I hope that is going to give me a nice little pattern on my jar. I'm using my Altenew grid mat in my stamp wheel. And now I'll just take my peeled paint. Now, I've got a little memo paddy thing here that I just keep by my desk so I can put that on. I was trying to decide if I should do color on color. I think maybe I should do color on color. I think that would be smart. So actually, let me grab my red brush. That way it'll stand out in the background rather than competing. All right, and now I'm just going to add ink through my stencil. And I'm hoping this ink is dark enough to actually make a difference in the color, because I don't want it to crazily stand out. I definitely want the pattern to show. And of course, because I painted it with the fluid masking liquid, I don't have to worry about where all the other ink is going. I'm just going to pick up a corner and have a peek. Oh, it is enough color. It looks great. Okay, I'm just going to wipe this off and then we'll do the green one. I think I'm just going to switch the pattern up a little bit for the green one just to see what the difference will look like. Okay, now I'm using peeled paint on this green one. I would have liked to do gingham, but I don't have a gingham stencil, so I guess I'm going to have to make myself one. I find using brushes a lot easier for doing stencil work compared to using the foams, because like this stencil has some very tiny little holes. It'd be incredibly hard to get the foam to get down inside there. Now I will do a little peek here. Oh, that looks fantastic. Okay. As you can see, these mats hold your project really well while you are working on inking. I'm just going to use a little stays on here to try and pick up that red. That red really stained my mat, but I guess if it's stained, it means I'm working. So that's a good thing. And clean my stencil off here. My Distress inks really were staining things today. There's even still a green hue all over my stencil. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. And now we'll peel off Actually, I want to wipe it off first, because I don't want any of that ink into places I don't want ink. All right, now all you have to do is find a spot where you can start working up that adhesive. Make sure your hands are clean, because if you have ink on from the picking any ink up off of your project, you're going to transfer it onto all the places you covered to protect in the first place. You're just gently going to peel that up. And every place that this was will not have the ink we put over it. Isn't that so fun? Now, you can't hold anything against these little bits because I obviously didn't get my masking fluid all the way up to the edge. But it's a little spot. I'm not worried about it. There's no inks on the white part of the jar, just where we wanted them to be. Okay, I'll come back and show you how to put this card together. Okay, we'll put this card together now. So Chantel from Simply Stated included a little top folding card that the little jam jar sits on top of. First off, I stamped birthday wishes in the fired brick ink, the same that I used on the back of the jar. And I put some distress stickles, a mix of distress stickles and a sparkly green and orange one, which sparkles was too bold and bright like Christmas, so I toned it down with the distress stickles. I've got a little bit of jute here, or cord, to put around the top. And I also have some, now I just bought this at the dollar store. This is just like burlap, but it actually already has adhesive on the back. It comes this wide, and I just cut it in half so I could put that around the middle of the jar here. So I'm going to start with that. There we go. And she included two little doilies to put behind there. So I don't want to distract from the labels. So I'm just going to take what was left on my brush from putting the ink on the labels and the jar topper and just go around the edge. I want it to be really, really light. Barely seeable, but it adds just enough. Now I'm going to opposite these. So I'm going to put the orange on the green. There we go. And I used Stampin' Up's Petite Wishes to stamp Happy Birthday on there, and I did that in the fired brick ink. So I'm going to glue that on. And I'm just using art glitter glue in my little glue press here. I might just put a little bit of glue in with that. It's not sticking around the corner there. There we go. Now the other thing I want to do is put a little bit of this cording around the lid, because that's how my grandma used to tie up her jam jars. Okay. Now I try not to put dimensionals on cards because the post office is getting crazy ridiculous with how much they're asking for. If your card is over whatever it is, an 1/8, or maybe it's 3/8 of an inch or something in that mail slots. But over top of this jute, I'm going to have a rocking situation if I don't put a bit of support back there. I'm going to use the orange down here on the green label, and that one I'm just going to glue flat. Lots of good glue under there. There we go. And then I'm just going to put a dimensional above and below the knot that I can catch the orange or lemon slice under. Okay, so I'm going to bear the dimensional away here. There we go. And I'm still going to put some glue on to give a good adhering to the jute. And I'll just make sure to get it pushed down so it catches on those dimensionals. All right. And there we go. Now all we have to do is put it onto the front of the card. Make sure I have it right here. I don't know if there's a front and a back. Yes, it fits better this way. So now I'm just going to add some adhesive on the back of here, and all that jute and that burlap will get caught when I glue it down onto the card. I like using the white glue because you have a minute to move your piece around compared to using tape runner. I find with tape runner, once that's down, it's down forever. Okay, now I just better make sure that my glue didn't seep out and glue that guy down. Nope, he can open up just fine. I'm just gonna stick a heavy block on him just to help everything get adhered down. That is pretty much it for the card. Now these shaped cards are very easy to make if you have a die cutting machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette. The other thing you can do is find a picture in a coloring book or something, trace it, and hand cut it. All right, there we go. That's the finished card. Very beautiful. And then I'll just put a greeting inside when I'm ready to send it. It was so much fun being able to put that texture to make it look like it had an actual fabric on the label and on the top. And it was so simple to get that done with the masking fluid, masking everything off. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for stopping by my channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at MelittasMakin@gmail.com. Catch me over on my blog at MelittasMakin@blogspot.com. Or you can message me just below. I'm also over on Instagram at MelittasMakin. Thanks very much and have a wonderfully crafty day.